Welcome to Gist Nigeria from the BBC and Channels TV, where we bring you stories making the rounds on social media. I'm Ajoke Hulotse. Let's start with our top story this week. Today, intimate partner violence is attaining perhaps an epidemic proportion in Nigeria. From knife stabs, acid bath, gunshot to more violent attacks, many lives have been lost, and those lucky to survive are left with physical and mental scars. In this report, Gist Nigeria's Wale Fakile tells the story of Joy Ndubueze, who was shot by her ex-fiancé. He also spoke to experts to understand what goes on in the mind of an abuser. Please be advised that some viewers may find portions of this story disturbing.
Continue to be victims.
In February 2014, a youth pastor, Akolade Arowolu, was sentenced to death for killing his banker wife. A lawyer, Yewande Oyedinran, was in November 2017 convicted of manslaughter by High Court sitting in Oyo State. Fast forward to March 2019, a High Court sitting in Ikeja sentenced Leko Shunde to death by hanging for beating his wife to death at their Egbeda Lagos residence. And in January 2020, Miriam Sanda, a nursing mother, was found guilty of killing her husband and was sentenced to death by hanging in Abuja. Most recently, one Anthony Ikpeama allegedly beat his pregnant wife to coma. He reportedly went to the hospital where she was being resuscitated and removed her oxygen mask. The woman died, and Ikpeama has since been arrested. These cases are reflective of just how massive the problem is. There are scores of other unreported or underreported stories, especially as victims and their families are wary of stigma.
But the question that begs an answer is just how the couples become so violent to the point of killing their spouse.
They are insane. That person's head is not correct.
We are living in the last days. The Bible has already said it that now people will become violently.
When someone came from a home where he or she watched or experienced violence between his or her spouses or the guardian, is likely to develop an attitude towards violence. And then also, when people get married or get into a relationship, they have unfulfilled expectations. They go in with so much expectation that the partner is not always aware. Oftentimes, there is a dissonance between reality and this expectation, so they are unfulfilled and the person becomes violent. And of course, The greatest of it is the vicissitude of life.
Most reported cases of intimate partner violence seem to share a pattern of possible triggers: accusations of infidelity, altercations on finances, and disagreements on how to run the home are the usual culprits.
Beyond these socioeconomic issues, what exactly goes on in the mind of an abuser, and what are the real triggers of abusive behavior?
It's because of all these things that you are taking, drugs, all those things. Immediately they take the drugs, they will not know what they are doing.
Some have natural or temper that they cannot control.
Our human behavior is majorly in the unconscious. The unconscious and the subconscious are about 95% of our entire being. So only 5% is what we see outside at the action. So inside this subconscious, we have the triggers, we have the thought processes, we have the emotions, we have the feelings, we have the belief. So in between all those, there are issues that has happened before that is currently happening that can trigger the person to becoming aggressive. It's difficult to say this is it.
Victims of abuse are sometimes caught in the web of economic powerlessness. In cases like this, seeking help or walking out of such violent relationships is not seen as an option. This survivor of intimate partner violence, who now runs an NGO to help people stuck in abusive relationships, says there are usually warning signs.
Now, they tend to want to blackmail you, they run you down and belittle you and say all sort of things that makes you look silly. Another sign to watch out for is communication breakdown. They make sure you have no access to friends. They make sure you have no access to people outside, especially because they know you could seek help. Financial abuse. They stop you from working, stop you from businesses. They don't even give you access to funds, and they don't even drop money for you to eat or feed your kids.
Rosalind adds that victims don't sometimes get the support they desire and that the road to justice is usually a long one.
Our society really feels, okay, so it's marriage and it's a personal thing. We really would not want to come in. And so sometimes because of the victim blame and stigmatization, even the victims find it very difficult to go seek for help. It's been 2 years since I have left, and it's a shame to say that my case with the Social Development Secretariat in NAPTIP, because of the slow judicial system, is still almost lying dead.
Not sure the charging to court, because if the charging to court, I should be aware, I should appear in court. So none of that has taken place.
The feeling of being handed the short end of the stick can be overpowering in a violent relationship. But experts said there are options available for victims of abuse and even perpetrators of the act.
We have a lot of professionals. We have the Nigerian Psychological Association of Nigeria. We have the mental health. We have a whole lot of people who are doing that. The challenge that people have not actually bought into it the way they should.
The solution to being a victim or a perpetrator of abuse is repentance from the person first, realizing that he or she has a problem and realizing that he or she wants to help others that want to help him or her solve the problem and cooperating with them.
The task of putting paid to violent abuse in relationships is a collective one, as the menace knows no gender.
For survivors like Joy, the second chance to life is a gift they'll continue to cherish. But her wounds and scars are vivid reminders that all hands must be on deck to stamp out this threat on the family unit, a key component in our march towards stability as a nation. Wale Fakile, Gist Nigeria.
We hope that Joy and other victims of abuse get some semblance of justice. So, what do you make of the rise in incidents of domestic violence in Nigeria? Share your thoughts with us on our Twitter handle at Gist Nigeria TV. We'll be glad to read from you.